Welcome to my channel. My name is Mel, and today I'm going to talk to you about what is Ayurveda. Ayurveda is, simply put, everything that I talk about, and it's infused in every class I teach or working with someone one-on-one. So Ayurveda actually stands for Science or Knowledge of Life, Ayurveda, and it's actually known as the sister science of yoga. So both originated in ancient India, and Ayurveda would be known as the self-healing principles, whereas yoga is more of the self-realization. And of course, they sound similar, but there are some differences between the two. Ayurveda has 8 limbs that we work through to reach samadhi, which is union with the self. It is liberation from the mind. Ayurveda gives us more of tangible physical practices that we can do every single day, yoga being one of them, as well as breath work, as well as meditation, that we can do to keep the physical vessel healthy, right? Our bodies, our minds, everything healthy, so that during our asana, our yoga practice, we're a lot stronger. So the two in combination are very much a beautiful marriage of healing. So with Ayurveda, it is believed that the holistic side, the healing side, comes from within, and that we all have the knowledge or wisdom to heal ourselves with everyday practices, with understanding our own energies. Speaking of those energies, and hopefully I don't lose you here, Ayurveda simply also states that we are one with nature. So the main energies in nature, known as the five great elements, we have within. Those 5 great elements: earth, water, space, air, and fire, we have within our bodies and our minds. So in combination, these elements actually make up bioenergies. So space and air, fire and water, and earth and water have their own unique properties known as the doshas. Doshas, again, I hope I haven't lost you yet, are, simply put, those bioenergies. So it's those elements in nature, and together the combinations make up a certain movement or energy, a life force. And within us, we all have, or we are born in with a dominant dosha. And of course, certain things will off-put us or imbalance our dosha, including the seasons, cycle, changes in our life, our lifestyle, and in which case we can throw off our own dosha as well as all 3, because we do have all 3 in us. We're just born with a more dominant one. So understanding your dosha is really important, because once you have that critical blueprint of your being, you can understand how you think, what practices you can incorporate, self-care, what foods to avoid, because it also affects your digestion, and digestion is a key part of Ayurveda. And it's a very much simple and personalized approach to wellness. So understanding the doshas. This is a very brief video, so bear with me. I'm going through everything Ayurveda, and then we'll break them all down in separate videos so you can get that bite-sized knowledge. So 3 doshas, main doshas in nature, made up of those 5 great elements. We have Vata, which is space and air. We have Pitta, which is fire and water. And then we have Kapha, which is water and earth. So each of them have a different energy. Vata is known for movement. It's known for flow in the body, prana flow, which is our vital life force. It also affects the nervous system. In seasons, it would be fall and early winter, kind of depending on where you live. And its gifts or talents is about adaptability, flexibility, and creativity. However, when those things are disrupted and blocked, we can have maybe too much Vata, which brings us into a flighty state or airy state, brain fog. Too much is happening in the mind because there's too much airospace. Or not enough, where it can affect our digestion and create really dry, bloatedness, gas, and just very uncomfortable situations. Pitta is fire and water, and this is the metabolism. It's also our vision. There's a sharpness to Pitta, and it is the summer season. So when things are the hottest, this is Pitta. So when Pitta is out of balance, you can be hot-headed, frustrated, irritable. This is also when we see hormonal issues, because metabolism and the adrenals are affected through this. Processing information might not be as sharp, or it might be, again, too heated. The The gifts of Pitta are more of the leaders. They take direction, right? There's foundation stability, and they're exercising with, they're executing rather, their visions, and they're also good visionaries. So this is like the CEOs of the world. The third dosha is Kapha, which is earth and water, and this is stability. It's also our tissues, reproductive organs, so anything like structure, this is going to be Kapha. The problem with Kapha, or the downfall of Kapha, is because it has the heaviest energies. Earth and water are the most heavy energies, so they're very stable, and once balanced, nice and secure. However, when out of balance, this is where we could see heaviness in the mind, like depression, extreme fatigue, inability to move, just no motivation. And it takes a lot to come back from that because it's such heavy energies. Kaphas need some reassurance. So working in community or having a support system is probably one of the most healthiest, or one of the things I recommend being a Kapha, to help bring back that vitality. And those are the three doshas. We're going to go into them in separate videos. So just to recap before we continue, Ayurveda is the ancient healing system of India. It's connected to yoga. It's part of yoga, and it is based on the foundations of personalizing your wellness based on your own energies that are reflected within nature. Forgot to mention Kapha is also spring. So this is also where we see heaviness and allergies and so forth. Okay, you're with me still. Let's talk a little bit more into what Ayurveda pillars look like. So whereas yoga has the 8 limbs, Ayurveda has 3 main pillars that we work in. One being nutrition, which includes spices and herbs and medicine from the earth to help heal, and what not to eat, what to eat, how to eat, what time to eat. There's so many factors of this. Sleep, or nidra, is one of the other pillars, and this is also, I put in the category of just rejuvenation and rest. And today's day and age, what I see most is people under rest or under sleep, or maybe oversleep, depending on their dosha and what's imbalanced. But it's really key, and it's a huge part of our health. I mean, it's probably not news to you, but yeah. And then the third one is brahmacharya, which it kind of translates to how do I say it, celibacy, but it's not really what it means. In the way I've taught and my teachers explained to me, it's not just about withstanding or withholding your sexual energy. It's also about just your output of energy and rejuvenation. So going back to sleep, are you overstimulating the senses? And I can guarantee all of us are, because we've got devices left, right, and center. Our eyes, our hearing, we're hearing music, we're hearing sounds. So we're overstimulating, and this is not a great thing for our senses, of course, if we're not rejuvenating. So it's like how hard you play, there should be same balance of rest in that. And that's the difficult part for most people when I work with them, or even getting to a class. Let's continue on. I have notes here so that I will not forget anything, because it is extremely in-depth. But the other part of Ayurveda that I mentioned a couple times is the personalization. And this is really important to me, and why I've started my online studio and what I teach in my workshops and all this stuff is the personalization on wellness. Because right now we're bombarded with, take this green supplement, everyone take ashwagandha, everyone take magnesium, and all these things. And while supplements are really key in today's day and age, I will not deny that, it's not necessary for all of us to be doing the exact same thing. And according to Ayurveda, that could actually work against us. I will do another video, but specifically on adaptogens like ashwagandha, so hot, but is it for everyone? No. And so with that being said, going deeper into women's health, this is really key, because our cycles are very unique, not only to ourselves. We all have an understanding of a healthy cycle, but all of us are not running on the same cycles. They've been disrupted from different things like hormonal changes, seasonal changes, life changes, stress, all these things. So how Ayurveda can help women is truly tuning back into our own inner cycle and wisdom. So what's right for me is not going to be right for you, and this is where Ayurveda teaches you or empowers you to align that, right? So it can help with stress management, 100%. This is the key thing that I work on. Burnout, which is my number one thing I work on, stress is connected to that, but burnout is something that we see a lot with women, which is not great, especially if you're at an age, a reproductive age, and you're looking for having children, or just premenopausal or in menopause. It doesn't really matter which phase, but it's burnout is very important, because it takes a long time to come back from that. And so hormonal, it helps with menstruation. menstruation or menstrual disorders. This is like PMS, PMDD, PCOS, so forth, endometriosis, all these things that you won't get a one-size-fits-all, because Ayurveda will tell you that it's not just a physical thing that's happening. There's an emotional thing that's happening. There is a mental thing. And so Ayurveda teaches us to clear all that out. And then a couple of things Ayurveda helps with for women particularly is I was in the beauty industry for 18 years, so I can speak on this. Helps with skin and hair. I mean, I'll insert here what my hair was doing a few years ago. Obviously, I was balding and I was losing a lot of hair, like in the shower. My skin, I had acne, rashes, all these things, and Ayurveda helped me bounce back from that, mainly from the stress balancing, but some of the Ayurvedic beauty practices or even our detoxing practices that we do daily can help with this. Next, we talked about nutrition and diet, and that's one of the pillars. Ayurveda believes that our digestion is key for a lot of our health issues, our mental state, because not only are we digesting physical food, we have to process and digest emotions, memories, experiences through the day, and a lot of us don't do that, right? Something happens, it gets stored in the body, and then it affects us. And we know now more than ever, I mean, science knows now more than ever, but Ayurveda knew this already, that anything that's happening in the gut is going to affect your mental state. There is just a strong connection to that. So Ayurveda works on your digestive fire, which tends to be the most important thing we look at, especially if the doshas are imbalanced. We start there typically, because when we start seeing physical symptoms, usually that's a big indicator. And then lastly, how do we do this? So Ayurveda talks about two things that are really important. Dinacharya, which is our daily routine, and then we have like a seasonal routine. So we have a daily routine and our seasonal routine, and that usually aligns with the seasons, of course, but we need to find a dinacharya or a daily routine that works for you. So that depends on your dosha. Even to the time you wake up, to the time you go to bed, to the time you eat. I mean, relatively all the same, but there are some key points for each dosha, especially if you are balancing your dosha. And I think this is the most fascinating thing because, again, our lifestyles now are so chaotic and it works against nature. Just an example, like our largest meal should be at lunchtime, and I've always been taught dinner time, right? And have a really big breakfast. But based on my dosha, because I have a kapha pitta and my metabolism is generally pretty high, I should be eating in the midday when the sun is highest, because what's happening outside, it's happening within. Digestive fire reflects the digestive heat outside. So I know that sounds kind of strange, but we'll definitely go into deeper dive on that. So basically your morning routine based on your dosha, your day and how you schedule your productivity can really change things. The simplest changes, and sometimes when people start these routines, like I'll give an example here, just plug that in, it looks really long. It looks like there's so much to do. It looks like you have to get up at 4 a.m. And ideally, yeah, that's what Ayurveda says. Let's rise before the sun. Let's awaken just like the birds do, just like the plants do. But there's ways to modify it, and that is my main goal with this channel, with my teachings, with my classes and workshops, and connecting with people one-on-one. Okay, let's just give a little recap. Ayurveda is the ancient healing system based from India, and it originated in the same time or in around the same time as yoga philosophy. Both have healing, self-healing sort of wisdom to them. Ayurveda would be more the tangible results, but includes things like yoga, breathwork, and meditation, whereas yoga has a path of enlightenment, essentially to find union from the mind or the ego. Two together are extremely powerful and give you more of a personalized approach to your wellness, your practice. So just on the note, I didn't even talk about yoga specifically, but the way you move, how quickly you move, the tempo, the breath you do, all matters when it comes to Ayurveda, because it could disrupt or imbalance your dosha. And so I won't get into it too much, but this is, again, why it's such a personal approach for me, and that's why I do more secluded programs, more semi-privates, more one-on-ones, because I want to be more focused on the individual, the prakriti, which means your dosha, your constitution, what you're born into this world, your gifts, your talents, how we get you back to balance, and understanding your vikruti, what is out of balance, so that you can feel empowered and make decisions every single day, right? It's not me writing, or an Ayurvedic doctor definitely can help depending on how severe, but once you have that information, of your dosha, it becomes so much easier to make decisions. And it's not like restrictive at all. It's not like cut calories, this and that. It's like Ayurveda is so insanely open to just being happy. It's about joy, bliss, no restrictions, discipline, but no restrictions in the sense that like you can never do things you don't like or love again. It's actually finding more joy in those things with comfort. So anyway, I hope that helps. This was very, very in-depth, I felt. I should have broke this up. If it's confusing, I'm sorry. I just really wanted to get this information out there, but we'll break it up in chunks. We'll talk about rest, we'll talk about nutrition, we'll talk about the doshas individually and the daily routine and so forth. Comment below what you found was most interesting, and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.